Now at 5, Crawford County Mental Health cuts the ribbon on its new addiction treatment center. Plus, we're going to meet an Oklahoma Miami young man who defied the odds to get published. And
the Trump and Harris campaigns barnstormed the battleground. Some Skylar Henry detailing the race as both tickets sharpened their messaging around their policy agendas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
There's a new facility in Pittsburgh aiming to treat addiction. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Crawford County Mental Health today cut the ribbon on the new addiction treatment center at the Richard H. Pfeiffer Recovery Complex. Features 24 residential beds, 4 social detox beds, and 7 crisis stabilization unit beds. Officials say the new facility will provide better care for the community. A young man in Miami, Oklahoma is beating the odds to become a published author. Maverick Manning was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when he was 5 years old. Despite his family being told for years he would likely struggle with reading comprehension, Manning has chosen to follow his passion for writing. After working on it for 8 years, Manning has published his first book titled The Rabbit's Creed Death Warrant. He says his diagnosis hasn't stopped him as an author, but he helps him actually tell better stories.
So it might take on the Asperger's that it doesn't make you stupid. It makes you smarter than other people because you see the world different.
You can learn where to find Manning's book on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The young author says he's already working on his next book. Another hot day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, super hot day. High temps right around 97 degrees across the region, which is a good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. It's 95 in Joplin. Pittsburgh sitting at 94 degrees, and everybody is hot. Carthage 94, Anderson 94, 95 in Grove, Oswego 97 in Chanute, and our temperatures are going to stay hot as we go through the next few days. In fact, let's go into your Wednesday afternoon. Look at this. High temps, mid-90s. Once again, even on Thursday, we're going to have high temperatures into the mid-90s, but then we'll start to cool down a little bit as we head toward the holiday weekend and also get some rain chances. We've had a couple little isolated little guys in our northern counties, but most of us have been pretty calm throughout the afternoon, and it looks pretty good as we go through the evening hours. 90s, 80s, 70s. Of course, we're going to look into the holiday weekend, all coming up here in a bit.
See you soon. Missouri Planned Parenthood facilities are fighting back against a new law to kick them off the federal Medicaid health insurance program. The organization filed legal challenges to the law with the Missouri Administrative Hearing Commission. The law bans Medicaid funding from going to Planned Parenthood, which could reimburse them for services to low-income patients, such as for pap smears and cancer screenings. Arkansas also has a law banning Medicaid funding for the organization. The Trump and Harris campaigns squared off over the economy today, with both sides saying they'll make homes more affordable for everyone, especially for younger Americans. And now there might be a new deal guaranteeing a presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. Skylar Henry has more details from Washington.
Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance rallied with voters in the battleground state of Michigan Tuesday.
Michigan is going red.
Vance focused on the economy and inflation.
You talk to a young person today, young people cannot afford to buy a home in their own country. We're turning a generation of 20 and 30-year-olds into permanent debtors.
Vice President Kamala Harris is also talking about the economy with a new ad focusing on affordable housing.
My mother saved for well over a decade to buy a home. I was a teenager when that day finally came, and I can remember so well how excited she was.
Harris's plan calls for building 3 million housing units in 4 years with new tax credits for builders targeting first-time home buyers and $25,000 in tax credits for the buyers. Harris has been off the campaign trail and has been reportedly using that time to prepare for the September 10th presidential debate.
I want to do debates.
Former President Trump says he's ready for the debate. He posted on social media Tuesday that he has come to an agreement with the Harris campaign on the rules for the debate. He says it will be the same rules as the previous Trump-Biden debate. The Harris campaign wanted to change the rules so that the candidates' mics are left open the entire time, as opposed to the Biden-Trump debate when they were only on when it was the candidate's turn to speak. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Donald Trump also says the Harris campaign has not agreed to a proposed debate on Fox News on September 4th. Both sides say they might be open to a second debate in October. A federal judge has temporarily blocked a landmark effort to offer 500,000 immigrants a path to U.S. citizenship. The Texas judge's order applies to a Biden administration executive order that would grant legal status to undocumented immigrants married to American citizens. Today's action to block the order follows a lawsuit by 16 states with Republican attorneys general. Still ahead, getting away to do absolutely nothing.
An increasing number of Americans are choosing to chill on vacation, content to plan and do as little as possible. I'm Wendy Gillette in Quebec, Canada, with a relax and recharge trend.
And next in Health Watch, efforts to protect student athletes from heat-related injuries as school sports kick off. Topping today's Health Watch, there's been an alarming rise in the number of heat-related deaths over the past decade. According to a new study published in JAMA, heat was blamed for 412 deaths in the U.S. in 2014 and more than 2,300 last year. The study found a downward trend between 1999 and 2014 before a significant spike over the next 9 years. Researchers expect this increase to continue and say local governments in high-risk areas should invest in cooling centers for the public. The heat can create dangerous conditions for student athletes. Exertional heat stroke, also known as EHS, is among the most dangerous heat illnesses. It's caused by vigorous exercise in hot and humid conditions and can become fatal unless treated right away. Elaine Quijano visited a school where prevention is a top priority.
It's time for football practice once again at Red Bank Regional High School in New Jersey.
Look outside.
Roaming the sidelines is certified athletic trainer Christina Emmerich.
If you recognize it in treatment, exertional heat stroke is 100% survivable.
Among the tools she uses to protect students, this device, which measures what's called the wet bulb globe temperature. That number tells Emmerich how much heat stress athletes may be experiencing.
When you look at exertional heat stroke, how big of a problem is this in high schools?
So it's one of the 3 leading causes of death in high school sport in America. And a lot of our field tests.
Doug Casa is the CEO of the Corey Stringer Institute, named after the Minnesota Vikings player who died of heat-related illness in 2001. The Institute's mission includes the prevention of heat-related sudden deaths and helping rehabilitate athletes.
Basketball here first.
Among them, Ryan Swoboda.
I remember I got there and I wanted to prove myself.
In July 2017, on his 3rd day of practice as a freshman on UVA's football team, Swoboda collapsed. His core temperature had shot up to a life-threatening 109 degrees. He spent 3 weeks in the hospital and more than a year in rehabilitation.
I had damage to a lot of my organs.
But he recovered and went on to play professionally in the NFL. The Corey Stringer Institute recommends schools have athletes get acclimated to the heat before practicing in full uniform, take mandatory water breaks, and have a cooling tub to treat overheated players. Also key,
make sure their high school has an athletic trainer because they don't want to depend on a coach if their child is going to die or live when they have a medical emergency.
Elaine Quijano, CBS News.
Now, as for that wet bulb globe temperature, experts say it's a more accurate measure of what athletes experience because it takes into account the ambient temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, and radiation from the sun. People who got myocarditis from COVID-19 had more complications than those who got the heart inflammation from mRNA COVID vaccines. French researchers looked at 4,600 patients over an 18-month period. 2% of post-vaccine myocarditis patients needed to be hospitalized for another heart-related issue. That's compared to 7% of those with post-COVID myocarditis. To prevent burnout, doctors should rely on non-physician collaborators to take notes on patients. A study from the University of Maryland found providers who use scribes and other forms of collaboration increase the number of patients they see by 10%. Doctors who most relied on others decreased the amount of time compiling notes by about 28%. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, officials in Alaska raised concerns over the possibility of more landslides.
Plus, it looks like our temperatures stay hot for the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, for us today, another hot one across the region. Temperatures right back up into the upper 90s for afternoon highs. And it looks like we're going to stay hot for the next couple days. Let's look outside right now. Nice shot. Here's Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Zooming in, look at our temps. 94 in Stockton, 92 Monette, Bentonville, 93. Veneta, 96, 95 in Pittsburgh. Neodesha is sitting at 96 degrees. We can go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline, sitting at 95. Westerly winds at about 10 to 15. Visibility is good, but our heat index about 4 to 5 degrees hotter than what our actual temperatures are. So we have heat indices into the upper 90s. Not extreme heat, but still pretty hot out there. What's saving us at least a little bit, our humidity is high, but it's not extremely high. Dew points are mainly sitting into the mid 60s, which puts us in that sticky range, but it keeps us out of that muggy, soupy range. As we go through the evening, we'll slide back through the 90s, 80s, 70s. We'll bottom out into lower 70s later on tonight. All right, let's go through time because our temperatures are going to stay hot once again as we get into tomorrow. Starting into lower 70s by noon, I think most of us near 90. Once we get into the afternoon, very slight chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but most of us hot again, 95, 96, 97 degrees as we go into the afternoon hours, and then we slide back through the 80s during the evening hours. So here's your day planner. 72 to start, 90 by noon, 95 by 4, high temp, 97, and again, we'll have that slight chance to get an isolated thunderstorm or two. Heat indices are still going to be up there. Heat index tomorrow, right around 100 degrees. Even as we go into Thursday, our heat index, right around 100 degrees. So we have 2 more really hot days, not extremely hot, but really hot. And then we'll start to cool down just a little bit as we head toward the holiday weekend. Most of us look good. We've had a few isolated little thunderstorms in our far northern counties, but most of these are going to stay north of us tonight, kind of along the I-70 corridor. We still have a little area of low pressure through parts of Texas, so these two combined will give us a little bit of moisture as we go through the week, giving us at least some chances for showers and thunderstorms down the road. All right, let's pick up tomorrow evening. We'll go into Thursday morning. Again, starting lower 70s. Once we get into Thursday afternoon, high temps, mid 90s again. However, there's a cold front back to our north and to our west. This will start to push in Thursday night, so some scattered showers and thunderstorms will get in here. They will weaken as they push in by Friday morning, but we'll have some scattered storms to start the day on Friday, and then again Friday afternoon, hit and miss storms. Notice the temperatures quite a bit cooler. Highs only into the mid 80s. Then as we go into the weekend, which of course is the holiday weekend, scattered showers and thunderstorms again with high temperatures mainly sitting into the 80s on Saturday. So we are going to cool down a little bit as we head toward that holiday weekend. All right, 97 tomorrow, 96 on Thursday, and then 86, which is better on Friday. I know Labor Day weekend, a lot of people doing outdoor stuff, but we are going to have those rain chances Friday and Saturday, but Labor Day itself looking pretty good, high temp 84.
Yeah, so it's high temps that sound really nice. And the lows in the 60s, low 60s maybe even?
A lot better.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Doug. There are fears of more landslides in Alaska after a slide killed a public works employee and injured 3 others Sunday. The landslide started after heavy rains in the city of Ketchikan on the southeastern coast sent heavy mud cascading into homes, trees, and power lines. As you see, at least 4 houses were badly damaged. Conditions are still unstable there. Residents of around 60 homes were ordered to evacuate.
In the amount of time that I've lived here in Ketchikan, which has been several decades, I've never seen anything like this.
Some residents were allowed to return home, but others are still under evacuation orders. Coming up, a new report breaks down the top used car brands if you're in the market. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Consumer Reports revealed its picks for the best used cars. The list includes vehicles 5 to 10 years old from 26 different car brands. Lexus, Toyota, Mazda, they topped their rankings of the most reliable used car brands. Consumer Reports surveyed its members about issues with the vehicles, breaking them into major and minor problems.
Yeah, the used car market, it's starting to rebound a little bit. So in the last year, prices have started to come down about 10%, and inventory's up a little bit too compared to the pandemic. And so all that means you're more likely to find the car that you actually want and hopefully pay a more reasonable price for it.
The average price for a new car right now is around $48,000. Some tourists are trimming their bucket lists on trips, happy to just relax and plan not much of anything. And as Wendy Gillette shows us, those in the travel industry say the do-nothing vacation is gaining lots of new converts.
At the Intercontinental Maldives, private pools, solitary stretches of sand, and the turquoise water of the Indian Ocean coax travelers to surrender to the scenery.
You can come and just reconnect with yourself and be surrounded by nature and don't feel like you have to do something. You don't have to go and explore.
Those who do venture out are often rewarded, snorkeling among a squadron of manta rays or discovering hideouts on the private island to lounge around. The simple strategy of letting your whims rule the day is becoming more popular. Rest and relaxation has increased as a primary motivation for traveling, up to 21% in February compared to 17% in September, according to market research firm Longwoods International. It's partly why more all-inclusive resorts are opening, including Herodance Ara, also in the Maldives, where stays have stretched out post-pandemic.
They want to come for long holidays and they want to take a real good break from their work life or busy life.
Executive chef Emila Silva offers cooking classes and a special tasting menu. 2-story overwater suites come with a stocked refrigerator and wine cooler, all free to drink.
The all-inclusive approach can also be found closer to home in Canada at Club Med Quebec Charlevoix, where you can do as little or as much as you want, depending on your mood.
If you want to sprinkle in more activity, there's hiking, mountain biking, or skiing, depending on the season, with spectacular vistas about an hour's drive from Quebec City. And an expansive kids program. Doing less at the resort, one of those we stayed at for a special rate, can also mean some quality hot tub time in the exclusive collection space, which offers more luxury amenities, or sitting down for leisurely meals.
Everything is all included. You can do lots of sports if you want to, or truly disconnect.
Club Med rolled out a new campaign last year. That's L'Esprit Libre, loosely translated to true freedom of mind, what more travelers are now seeking. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Walmart has recalled nearly 10,000 cases of apple juice because they were found to contain potentially harmful levels of inorganic arsenic. The Great Value brand apple juice recall got a more urgent classification after its original announcement on August 15th. The new classification says the affected product could temporarily cause adverse health consequences, but it's not likely to cause serious or irreversible medical issues. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the new method schools are using to teach kids how to read as millions fall behind. Then on KOAM News at 6, a fatal crash shuts down part of I-44 for several hours. Plus, we're going to hear more about the journey of a Miami man to become a published author despite having autism. And with football season kicking off, we're going to see which local athletes are battling for spots on NFL rosters. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. It's been hot out there. It's still hot out there, Doug.
Yeah, it's going to be another hot evening as we drop back through the 80s into the 70s. 97 tomorrow. Very slight chance we could get a random isolated thunderstorm. 96 on Thursday. And then we cool down a bit and our rain chances go up as we head toward the holiday weekend.
We could use the rain for not on the holiday weekend, but what do you do? Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.